Okay guys, what's going on? This is going to be an update video on my G&D DTW. I've done some changes to this gun, not mainly because I needed it, but just simply because I had a few better parts laying around. So let's go ahead and start with what I've done. I've added a Celsius MX3 MOSFET. That was, however, to replace the stock one, as I did use kind of a powerful battery on this to give it kind of a test, and it did burn out. The battery that I used was an 11-130C 2600 milliamp hour battery. This was a little too much for it, and the MOSFET did burn out. However, the battery that I prefer to use is this Firefox battery, and I know a lot of people had questions on this on my last video, so that's why I'm announcing it here. It's a Firefox 20C 11-1 2400 milliamp hour battery. It fits perfectly inside the Systema PTW crane stock, and it also gives the gun a very good trigger response and rate of fire. Now I also have one of the buffer tube stick lipos in case I ever want to use a Magpul stock. I'll show you guys that battery as well. This one is a hot power. It is 11-1 1100 milliamp hour and only 15C, so it's not as powerful as that nunchuck battery over there, but it still gets the job done. And in the last video I shot with the 20C 11-1, so this video I'm going to shoot with only a 15C LiPo, and you can kind of hear the difference, but you should also keep in mind that I did change the motor. This is a tackle-buried Celsius CTW motor, and I'm not too big of a fan of Celsius motors. They have a weird sound to them, and I noticed that with my old CTW, and I've only noticed that sound with Celsius motors. So in the future I may end up getting a Systema PTW motor that's been tacked, or maybe I'll buy a Fight Club one. I'm not sure yet. But otherwise, the only other change I've done is the ECU. It's an E-Tiny adjustable one. However, I do need a new selector board, so the gun does not shoot in semi-automatic right now, but I can put it in full auto and try to semi it so you guys can get an idea of what it sounds like. So basically just 3-shot and full auto for now. So yeah, also I have a couple things I want to talk about. Mag brand magazines do fit very well. You can see they're a pretty good fit. They come out pretty easily. They don't fall out of the mag well. However, I've never really had a PTW that actually had mags fall out of the mag well, because they are a really good solid fit, and the magazine catch is very strong, so that's another reason why they won't fall out or go in very easily. You have to give it that nice little tap. But yeah, so that's it for the magazines. Let's see, I'm using a Systema PTW black cylinder right now, just to prove to you guys that they do work. So here we go. You can see Systema PTW black cylinder. I haven't really noticed much difference between this cylinder and the stock one, which is kind of good because those DTW cylinders are only about 60 bucks. And if they can compare to the Systema ones, that's a great price cut. Still using the stock barrel. I did notice also that the Celsius CTW hop-up does fit into the upper receiver pretty well. And it's not very hard. You can actually pry it out with your hands. So that's a good sign. If I ever do need to switch hop-ups, I can throw this one in there. However, I'm not too big of a fan of the 6.00 barrel because they can jam up very easily if you're not using very good BBs. So, with that being said, the gearbox is still stock and it's still running very well. And another thing is the stock motor is still perfectly fine. Like I said, I only put the Tackleberry motor in there because I figured it would be a lot more reliable and it wouldn't break down in the field. But the DTW motor is very strong. And matter of fact, you can get those from RSOV for about 80 bucks. So if you guys need an extra motor or just something to get you by until your tack motor comes back, that's a great motor to buy. I haven't had a single problem with it yet. And it's better than the Celsius motor by far. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of a firing demo real quick. Like I said, I don't have an actual semi-auto, so I'm going to try to do my best here. But and I'll also shoot it with the 20C LiPo as well, so you guys can kind of tell the difference. But yeah, so here we go. a 3-shot burst. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pop this battery out, and I'm going to put the 20C in so you guys can hear the difference. Alright. Okay, here we go. Go back to full auto so I can do the semi-auto. Alright, here we go. You can see this one's a little bit harder to make it semi because the battery does have a higher discharge rate. Alright, so we'll try a 3-shot burst now. Here we go. Alright, so you can see it works pretty well. Now there was also a few comments in my other video asking why the gun was firing without a magazine in, and that's because the spring that's behind the bolt release itself is strong enough to actually engage the bolt when there's not a magazine in. So that is why. However, if you do put an empty magazine into the gun, it will not fire. Okay, you can see it's on full auto. Nothing happens. The bolt sticks out. As soon as I push this in, it will fire. Okay, so you can see there that feature does work. And as soon as you put a magazine in there with loaded BBs, the bolt release will probably release itself because of that spring. Now, if you want to, you can shorten that spring down a little bit and make it a little bit weaker if you're really worried about that feature right there. But for me, it's not really a problem, so I just left it alone. But just in case you guys are wondering if the DTW cylinder sounds any different, I'm going to go ahead and pop that in here as well, so you can get kind of a sound comparison between the Sistema one and the DTW cylinder. Alright. Go ahead and drop this in. Do the semi first. Alright. Okay, it does sound a little bit more crisp. Gonna do the 3-shot burst now. Here we go. Alright, so that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Now, I was kind of surprised there. I did notice a slight difference in sound between the Sistema cylinder and the DTW cylinder. Now, that may just because this has a heavier spring in it than the DTW cylinder, and the gun might be putting out higher FPS, which would cause a little bit more pull on the motor, so that could explain that. But yeah, and I haven't chronoed this yet because my chrono is actually broken. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but the lasers just are not reading any BBs anymore. So I am getting a new one soon, and once I get that chrono, I will chrono the gun for you guys and have readings up on YouTube so you guys can check that out. But for now, guys, I think that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll try to keep you guys updated as much as I can on this gun. Like I said, I'm very happy with this thing. I actually did use it in a game, and it went all day perfectly fine. So that was very surprising to me. As far as the hop-up goes, it's still very well. It is very accurate, actually. It's actually more accurate than the Celsius with the 600 barrel. So yeah, it's built very well. There's no barrel wobble whatsoever. And I think that's about it. So yep, thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the chrono readings that I will have up shortly, and I'll also do another video once I get the new selector board so that I can really give you a good semi-automatic firing demo. But for now, that's it, and I'll see you guys next time.